Hi, I'm Roger, a regular guy with a hotline to Spirit. I want to give you, this is a part 2 of the video I just did, which was what we're all doing, what's going on, and the purpose. What is the purpose of it? We are so much, and there's so much we bring, and for you to have a clearer, more thorough understanding of that, and how magnificent we are. I wanted to do this video to give some more insights and useful information on your journeys. We're capable. We're ready, and we all came here together to do it. So let's do it. See you in there.
Gande ho, gai he hayun dayaho, gai dayaho. Ha.
So this is the part 2 of what we're all doing, what's going on the planet at this time, what we're all doing, and the purpose of it. When we finished that episode, I just of the part 1 of this, I thought, oh, I wish I had given you some more examples that would be helpful. But then I just felt that the video would have been just way too long. So here's a part 2. So Spirit comes in right now and says, take in yourselves. Take in, and you might say to yourself, you don't know how to do that. Well, right now, take in yourself and feel yourself. Just feel yourself. Take in your beingness. It's a continuous thing. It's not your beingness is your being and then it's done. No. Take in your beingness and feel it, and feel how it fills and occupies the space you're in, the room you're in, wherever you are. See if you can track it and how vast you are, how far out you go. And sense, discern, decide what is of its nature. That's what comes in. It's pretty strong, isn't it? Powerful, intelligent in a way that it's difficult for us to grasp. It is beyond our ability to even comprehend the level of intelligence and strength and power and vastness that we are. But indeed, take it in. You are source, observing source. And you think, oh, all these things are just happening to you? Spirit says, no. What is being shared with you has been our longing for you to know for millennia, for longer, for so long. We don't have this in language, but for so long, but beyond time, our concept of time. That you know what you are and what your capabilities are, what you are capable of. So you are doing learnings, yes. How exciting they are, yes. You handpicked each one to do in a specific order as well. You cannot get to that learning and that learning, or to be that or do that, until you do these learnings. For these learnings will have you equipped to do those learnings. You know this from experiences in lives. Spirit says. You are each loved. You are each love. In other words, love itself. So you cannot ever not be loved or not be love. Yes, they're reminding me of a phrase that came in years ago when I was giving an event in New York City, which is love is around us and in us. It is us. And the first thing that takes us out of it is entitlement. So Spirit invites you to drop all entitlement, all anger. Just be love. And if you're now getting outraged or something, maybe now's not the time to watch this video. Watch it another time. It's okay. It's not me with my schizophrenic friends, it's Spirit and myself invite you and say, we are not in judgment. However you are being, be it. Have that experience. That is an experience in itself. And I say, and it comes in, boy, is it ever. But as my grandmother once said to me when I was so angry as a little boy and I ran under the bed, Roger, she called me out, Roger, don't you want to come out and sit on your Nana's lap and let me love you? Gotta love your Nana. And so I came up, and that's what Spirit is inviting us to do, to love ourselves. Yes, and so Spirit says, here's a great moment for me to give some examples for clarity. Very often we enter into relationships and we're not digging them. It could be a relationship with a person, a personal relationship, or at a job, and we're not being loved, we're not being treated well. We're not only not being treated well or loved, it's awful, and it might even be abuse or abusive. It is the best way for us to become aware of how we are being. I wasn't being abusive. They were abusing me. No, you cannot experience something you're not being or holding. So which is it? You're either being it towards yourself, not them, towards you, or you're holding something of it from this time or another lifetime. Discovery. The experience informs you what you're holding. Can't change what you're not holding. So, and I will, president of the Hair Club for Men on this one, I've had many experiences. Dumber than a box of hair. How many experiences do you have to have until you get it? Apparently many. I had many experiences of being treated poorly, of abuse, of not being loved. And that was hard. Real hard. And I didn't know what I was doing wrong. I know I wasn't doing anything wrong, but I was doing something, and that, Italian, what that was is I wasn't loving me, so I was getting people that were not loving me. And I was also holding abuse from other lifetimes and trauma. So it was revealing to me. I didn't know it at the time. No one said, here's a pamphlet of being human, the things you need to know and how it works. No, that's why I have this channel. I'm sharing with you the nuts and bolts of being human. This is what the angelic realm and your guides and my guides teach me, share with me, to share with you. And that's what this is about. That's why we're here. This is the planet Earth. We help each other. So what I was experiencing is what I was being towards me. So then I had to slowly, and I mean, I didn't have to slowly, I was slow, I started to change about loving myself more and more. And then I would have big successes. In other words, wonderful, good experiences, great people would come into my life. And then I would have some failures or difficult experiences. And I'd say, what am I doing wrong? Nope. What am I holding? Well, they were being awful to me. How are you being that way towards yourself? What are they revealing to you that nothing else could? What are they affording you to learn? What is she, he, them affording you to learn that nothing else could? How are you being towards yourself? How are you that way towards yourself? I was. I was not cherishing me. I wanted them to cherish me. You do it. I don't want to do it. I didn't know that, but I've come to learn. Yeah. Everything is happening. The universe is conspiring for us to become what we are. So how else are we going to get it? By having these experiences that inform us what we're being. So I've been loving myself more, and there are many exercises. I'm going to do a video on some really good ones on how to love yourself more. Another example, thank you, another example how it works is in terms of what you are being, you shall experience. The universe will always meet with you with the way you are being, moment to moment, day after day, every moment, day to day. So, and you might have, in one of my earlier episodes, I think I mentioned the story, but it's a good one. It's a goodie. It's worth repeating. So I'm going with my sister-in-law and my closest friend to the mall. And we're walking there. And on the way there, we go to Modell's. And I have a really great coupon. It's like 75% off. That's an amazing coupon. So I go into Modell's, and I'm looking around, and I don't see anything that I really want at all. Darn. But I see this man with his two little kids, and he has a cart, like a big shopping cart, and they keep just piling things into the cart. And he's like this. And this kid, this little boy has a mitt, a tennis racket, a bat, a ball, clothes. This girl is throwing gymnastic stuff in there. I don't know if it was a baton or boxing gloves, clothes, and it was just filling up like one of those crazy carts you see at a supermarket, or maybe you've pushed one yourself like I have, and the food is just falling out of it. And I'm thinking, oh my God. And he's more and more, he's like this, and I was like, I can't use this coupon, but he can. So I go up to the register and I asked the cashier, and I said, if I leave this coupon for him, because it was 75% off your entire order, can he use it, that man over there? He was waiting online at this point. And she went, mm-hmm. I said, does he need my phone number or anything? And she says, no. I said, can I point him out and make sure he goes to you? She goes, yeah. And she smiled at me, and that felt good. And it really felt good. I was just excited for him to use it. And I went over to him. I said, listen, I have a 75% coupon off your entire order. I think you can use it. I can't use it. I left it with a cash register over there, the cashier. She's waving at you. And he waved, and he looked at me, and he just said, thanks. I said, sure. We're here for each other. I said, this planet Earth, we help each other. Enjoy your kids. They're beautiful. And I left. And we're walking to the mall. Dun, 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 dun. We get to the mall. We get to Macy's. And my sister-in-law is getting something, and she's really fast. And I'm walking around, and my friend and I, he just puts a hat on my head, and we're like kind of joking, and he goes, oh. And I look in the mirror, like, yeah, this is nice. And I'm like, oh, but I don't want to get a hat. And then we put on another hat, like two silly people, and I'm like, this is a good hat too. And he said, yeah, you should get them. I said, And then I'm walking around, and he's reading a book, and I think a tie I like, and a pair of jeans, but I don't really need a pair of jeans, but I really like these pair of jeans because they were like faded and turquoise kind of, and the jeans are like $71, and I don't want to spend, I can afford it, but I didn't want to spend that much money. I didn't want to spend $71 at all. I don't know why, but I just didn't. So anyway, something happened. I just decided, I'm going to get these things. And I get to the register with two hats, a tie, I think a belt, and a pair of jeans. And my sister-in-law is in front of me, and she buys her things, and she pays for it. She has a Macy's card. She gets a certain amount off, and that was it. And then it's my turn. And I say to the guy in front, the gentleman, the cashier, I said, listen, I've been really good this year. Feel free to take something off. And my sister-in-law says to me, Roger, because you don't do that in Macy's. I was like, why not? He says, let me see what I can do. She was like, And he starts taking off stickers and putting them on things, and he rings it up after the whole thing. He says, it comes out to $71 and something cents. And I'm like, and he says, and if you use her charge card, you can get an extra 30% off, I believe. And with that, she goes like this. And I think it came all the way down to like 42 something. And I gave her the cash, of course. So what was happening? I was generous to this man, and the universe was being generous to me. That's how it works. However you are being, you shall receive. You shall reap what you sow, right? These are not just words. This is instruction. So I want you to understand how you are being is going to be experienced by you. Always. So you get that? I want to jump back now to, is there anything else? Asking Spirit. Spirit wants to say something about love. If many of you want to experience love, even those of you that say, I'm done with love, I don't want love, you do. Spirit says, start the vibration of love. It is the reason you've come to this world. It's kind of like that. If Spirit had a physical body, start something, a thought. A thought is a seed, and held becomes a garden. Start a thought of something that graces your mind, meaning lifts you into a world that might have been something you experienced as a child, a world that is not like the one you're in, that you don't want to be in, or that you've given up hope about love, or that you have a disdain about. Recall to yourself a beautiful thought and relish it. And as you relish it, you are nurturing it, and it grows within you. It changes your vibration. Just be with it. And the longer you are with that thought, do not answer the phone. You do not have to take the clothing out of the dryer or transfer it from the washer to the dryer. You can let the microwave beep. Just be with that thought. And then you will know you accomplished something. You will even say within yourself, okay, it is complete, or I have done good work. You can feel it whether you say it aloud or not, Spirit says, because you indeed have. You have started a wave of newness, of love, of vibration that you are now holding, and it has become part of you, more firmly grounded, rooted in your beingness. And that's going to change everything. Do that once a day, or several times a day, not while you're driving. And that will change much for you and for those around you. For the experience will change everything. For everything and every experience happens from you. Now, Spirit says we're ready. I want to touch upon one thing before we say goodnight for now, or good day, or good morning, and that is past life traumas. A past life trauma, or even ancestral traumas, but I want to keep it to past life traumas. A past life trauma is what? It's a trauma from a past life. And how do we know we have one? Well, sometimes it can be obvious, and not obvious at all, particularly if we're not taught of such a thing exists. Very often I have people come in with diseases, and where they're expecting Western medicine, allopathic medicine, to tackle and remedy, cure their disease. But the disease is in their system, and it's not from this lifetime. Western medicine is addressing, like a Newtonian approach of a construct, a mechanical of let's look at what's not working right. Oh, okay, it must be in that area. That's not the origin of it. That's not the root cause. That's the symptomatic expression. So it cannot be cured, or it cannot be remedied. It cannot be obliterated or finished or removed, because you're not addressing the root cause. Again, your allopathic medicine, by and large, is addressing the symptomatic expression. Let's be very clear here. I am not bashing doctors. If it wasn't for Western medicine, my nephew wouldn't be alive. He was born a preemie. So thank you, Western medicine. But we need to use Western medicine, and we need to use Eastern, or we need to use energy medicine. And together we have a solid prayer of power application. So that being said, the origin of many diseases is from a past life or past life trauma. If you feel it's from a past life trauma, you might have an insight, you might have a gut feeling. Trust your gut. It's our first brain. This is not, this is. So you need to listen, or you can muscle test yourself, and don't get crazy or neurotic with it. Just you'll know you're holding things that are not from this time, and very often it can be a past life trauma. And you, particularly if you keep hitting and having the same experience, and it doesn't go away, it's saying, we haven't gotten it yet. Well, what is it? Get with an energy healer, someone that addresses past life traumas. So I want to give you a solid example of this, a scenario of a disease and a past life trauma. So I have this one client, and he lives on the other side of the planet, and he heard about me on the other side of the planet, which was kind of cool, and he was on the journey of the learning intensive of cancer, and he scheduled sessions with me, and he had, at that point, I had already had 4 surgeries. And one day we're in the middle of a session by phone, and I have to use the bathroom. I'm drinking a lot of water. I had to urinate, and I said, I'll be right back. And he says, no problem, me too. So as I'm using the facilities, I start to get film footage of this village, an indigenous village. I knew what it was and where it was. It was in South America. I haven't been there before. And that everyone was dead. It was decimated. And it was quite upsetting. Remember, it was film footage, and I could feel it as well. And I knew I was seeing it from the first person, him, my client. And I even asked, was this from me or of me? No, it's for your client. So, and I'm watching, and everyone is dead, and he's still alive, and he's not doing well in this moment, in this film footage that I'm seeing from first person singular, his point of view. So I wash my hands, I get back to the table, and he's back, and I said, listen, I have something to share with you. I didn't know how to share this with him. I mean, I don't want to upset someone, but yet it's my job to share this, what comes in, the truth. So I said, he says, what? What's up? I said, well, something came in, I don't want to disturb you, and I'm kind of like avoiding it. He said, what is it? And I finally say to him, okay, I saw film footage, and that's one of the things that happens with me, of a village that was decimated in South America. It says indigenous village, and you were there. He says, oh, that. And I'm like, oh, that? And he's like, yeah. He says, oh, he says, I knew you were good, or you came highly recommended. And he said a bunch of compliments. And he says, I had several regressions done, and that always comes up. I said, oh. I said, and did they, what about it? He says, oh, I don't know. I said, your soul, every time you have a regression, you're telling me this came up. He says, yes. And so your soul wants you to know something about it, and no one decided to ask or find out. He says, no. Now, I have a thing about remedy. So and what came in, I said, tell me more about it. Spirit asked me to ask him to get to it. And for that, in asking that, we would get to it. And sure enough, we did. He says, well, in that life, I was a doctor, as he is in this life. And he says, and I was poisoned. And because of a rival healer from another village, poisoned me and killed everyone in my village, and I would watch them die and suffer. I said, and how did you actually die with the poison? He says, well, you stayed alive, and it just rotted out my guts in this area, in his abdomen area. And then, that was all I needed to hear. You know, let me, is anything more clear, like a past life trauma, like a Ramada ensign, just blinking. I said, and where have you experienced the cancer? In his abdominal area, where his guts were rotting out. It was held in his fields, and he was experiencing it, holding it in his body. So I got to clearing that past life trauma and other things around it, and sure enough, he is cancer free. Praise God. Praise the fellowship of men, and using our God aspects to advance each other into love, and leaving wounds and horrors and sorrows and disease all behind. So that's what we're doing. He was holding something from another lifetime, and he was getting his attention, but we don't have a vernacular of this. We are told we're addressing the symptoms. So in working with past life traumas, if you're having something, or an illness, or someone you know, or a family member, an illness or a disease, don't be running up to them and saying, "Oh, I know what you have. You have a past life trauma." No, that's not for you to say, but you can maybe suggest to them for them to look into that. But it is, thy will be done. It is, the law of allowance. You have to allow people to have their experience. You can share with them what you have learned, but use what you're learning, what we're sharing, what we're learning together with you first. Teach by example. And you'll find the words, the right words, the loving, kind, supportive, gentle words to share this with someone that might need to hear this information. Tell them, forward them, tell them watch this video maybe. But we need to get the word out, and we need to do it with love. So we have absolute power. We are creating all these experiences to become aware of what we're holding, for us to get the learning. And very often, a big part of that learning is loving ourselves, forgiving ourselves, cherishing ourselves, and bringing that love, the cherishment, the brilliance that we are to the planet, and leaving all else that is not what we are behind. We are moving into what I am, that I am, and leaving behind I am not that I am, right? Together. It's a together thing. So I hope that's helpful. I think it is. If you got something out of this video, please leave a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I am sharing what I'm learning, so that we're all well equipped with living and healing and the adventure we've come here to have, loving each other. And it starts with loving ourselves. Important lesson. If you get nothing else. And it's so important. Get that. Much joy. Much love. And again, ring that bell. Thumbs up and subscribe already. What are you waiting for? And leave a comment. Thank you.